Hello, and welcome to a Worlds of ZZT Let's Play. I don't typically do these, however, I've had some computer troubles recently, and in getting those computer troubles fixed in the near future, I'm falling a bit behind on my usual schedule. And playing a ZZT game and just live recording some commentary is the, well, low-effort way of getting things done. Today I'm going to be taking a look here at Draco's Edible Vomit. It is a late 90s title of considerable fame. A winner of multiple awards, a Classic Game of the Month, and a Featured Game status. It's a pretty influential work as far as ZZT's Trippy games go. It's up there with things like Kudzu and Pop, Bizanlu, the works. It is unique in that it actually is supposed to be a drug trip more so than the others, which tend to be like you wake up in a weird place or you're doing some lucid daydreaming and exploring your subconsciousness. This is a game made by a teenager, and as such, a lot of Draco's games in particular are generally pretty edgy or juvenile feeling today. But of all of them, I would say Edible Vomit definitely holds up the best. It is still one that is very much worth playing for yourself. This is also going to be a game very much about drugs, so if that is not your thing, this may not be the video for you. Let's listen to this title screen music here and see what Edible Vomit is all about. A nice little song. We get this very distinctive title screen. A crying eyeball in space between two planets? Definitely not a typical looking title screen, at least. It doesn't really give you much of an idea of what this game is all about, but we'll get to that pretty quickly once we actually get started here. A sordid little trip by Draco, presented by Reptile House. There on the right, we get to see our protagonist, Freddy the Ferret. And if we take a look at this game's intro, we shall learn a bit about Freddy and his drug-using ways. You tighten the leather strap around your forearm, anxiously pulling off the needle cap. Without any hesitation whatsoever, you slam the needle into your wrist. The old familiar sting. Ah yes, 'tis good shit indeed. You feel mellow. Mellow. Oh, the mellowness. You feel yourself tripping. So, at the time of this game's original release, Draco did not actually have any experience with drugs. I believe in either this game's text file or some compilations documentation, he mentions that he did actually start making it while, under the effects of cough medicine for an actual cold he was suffering from at the time. But drugs very much became Draco's thing, both in his actual offline life as well as what he became kind of infamous for within the ZZT community. And he's probably pretty responsible for drug culture being such a major part of the ZZT community of the late 90s and early 2000s. Dear God, the wonders! Oh, the trippy unseen. Let me take me to the clinic for my dose of methadone. Shit, you think to yourself. They must have fucking laced it. You feel terribly weak and feel your complexion turn pallid. You begin to cough up blood and vomit, and stumble outside for air. It is just then you are scared the shit out of by many a spooky vision. Effectively scared shitless, you begin to cry and run around frantically, grasping your bleeding arm. You find yourself in a world unlike any other. Nay, not a new physical place, but a state of mind. You're smashed, Freddy. Plastered out of your fucking mind. This trip isn't wearing off the least bit. You begin to wander your little trippy Teletubby wonderland. You pray if either you believed in an almighty deity of some sort, or were simply grounded enough to bloody think. Neither is the case. Still tripping, you feel a desire for more white lines. You convulse and vomit a bit, then embark on your quest for the perfect drug. Can you, Freddy the Ferret, achieve the ultimate high? Have a nice trip. And some pretty intense flashing, too. This was probably many a ZZTer's introduction to what drugs are supposedly like, from something other than adults telling them to stay far, far away from them. Comics. My credits. Draco is more than happy to discuss Toucan's inspiration on this game, so there's pop for you there, in particular, I'd imagine, as well. Clism here with Kudzu. And we also get the classic listing of CDs listened to while creating the game. Some interesting variety there. I think that's all we're going to get. It's time to actually take on the role of Freddy the Ferret here. Long story short, this game is pretty well known for its distinct visuals. As we can see, we've actually got that. One of those planets from the title screen here. Something flashing. This prince-esque sign. There's a door on the little shroom. On that door is a little shroom and an niche in the shape of a crescent moon. At any rate, the door has no knob, and as pushing it provides no avail. How it opens, you couldn't fathom. So we're pretty much just free to set out and wander around. The door to your house. Funny, you never noticed your house was a big-ass mushroom. Sure enough. As you walk to the south, you find yourself in an orchard. A garden, really. Technicolor shrubbery and glowing fruits. Indeed, a little garden of joy, it seems. But all the serenity and silence frightens you the slightest bit. You hear a faint crying in the distance. Draco was very much a bit of a celebrity at the time. This game certainly turned heads, but the Teen Priest series is undoubtedly his major claim to fame today, which took kind of unprecedented levels of shock humor for a ZZT game. It's the kind of thing that community members, some of which were divided on, like, hey, is this too much? People started proposing rating systems and just, like, should we let people know if a ZZT game is friendly for kids or not, and that sort of thing. Skank, it's you. Indeed it is. Greetings, Freddy. Hey, man, I was wondering, man, did you score me any shit? Well, I don't know, man. What kind of shit you looking for? The strongest shit I could find, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm fresh out. Maybe if you come back in 2 weeks, I'll have some nice white lines or acid or something. Want a joint? Your joints be damned, man. I need good shit. Jesus Christ, man, you're tripping. Yeah, man, I just had the best heroin I ever took, man. I need more or else I'll go fucking crazy. Tell you what, there's a good buddy of mine over to the east in a place called Angel. He goes by the name of Jimmy the Rat. He's got some fucking great shit, man. He's got the strongest shit I've ever seen, anyway. Really, man? You think he could score me some free shit? I don't know about free, man. After all, we're talking about the best shit from fucking Cuba. But just tell him Skank sent me. I'll give you a nice discount. Oh, man, thanks. So we get this, I guess, very stereotypical interpretation of what drugs are like here. We're seeing mushrooms everywhere. The sky is flashing colors. We'll do a little bit of everything. We'll drop acid. We'll inject ourselves with heroin. Marijuana is just a mere gateway drug. It's nothing. We just get to roam this bizarre landscape. Ah, here we are. At the Berlin Wall. Now, one thing about this game that I've never been a fan of is it can be a bit difficult to tell what's solid and what's not. Luckily, the game does actually come with a complete walkthrough. It'll make you very much aware that this is actually described as a hidden passage. But it's very easy to not catch this and just pretty much wander around making no progress. Lots of little bits too with this kind of approaching a board from multiple angles. So we get whatever this thing here in the corner is, a rather worn-looking hammer. Worth keeping, surely. You snag the hammer and place it in your fur. And now we're just left to wonder what the heck that thing up top is. A lot of ZZT games would make that the Energizer Bunny. And seeing as we're Freddy the Ferret, that's probably not a bad assumption. And of course, if we access this board from one of the other entrances, we'd be wondering about this weird hammer in the corner. And again, we can't actually go left here, so we do have to go right back. Let's check the western path here. And then we also get stuff like this. I don't know if that's supposed to be like a fire or what. It blinks. There's no way to interact with it. It's just there. Just appreciate it. Oh, here we go. So, try not to think too much about how these boards connect, as you have met the Energizer Bunny. Dear God, this poor bunny looks as if it's smashed out of its little mind. He's moving so fucking fast, if you tried to pass him by, he'd knock you down. Better not head this way, lest you have something to calm him down. Okay. A lot of trippy ZZT games just get to have a lot of fun with their visuals. This is obviously a pretty distinctive paint job on this building. Something that you can't really pull off in a more straight-faced game that takes place in a more of a reality. You are about ready to go around the large temple when you are scared shitless at the sight of a big-assed eye about as large as your whole body. Okay, so not a door, as you might think. And of course, it's not uncommon for a trippy game to play with your expectations like this. Well, you gotta outstare it. That's gonna be a tall order, though, I'm sure. You try to outstare the eye, but you only get a killer headache. Maybe it's because the eye has no eyelid. You ask the large eye where it is from. E/she it does not reply. Okay. You poke the eye with your finger as hard as you can, but you only experience a painful burning sensation. Oh, nothing to do here just yet. You enter this big old temple. Some stairs going up the corner, lots of ivy. Pardon me. And this floor decal, made out of forest. That's not important. It's just, a lot of times forest doesn't get used because it disappears when you walk on it. So you can make this more interesting, yet still walkable scenery. But if you actually do walk on it, you're kind of just destroying it in the process. Well, something happened here. You approach a decapitated man, his limbs strewn all over the place, a vine tied securely around his neck. He has blood. The wounded wanker. Help me. Hurt myself. Holy shit, man. Did you hurt yourself? Freddy. Very astute. Please tell someone in town. Like, sure, man. He can scream in his ear, because he can't do anything about it. Checking out the upstairs area. Strange. There seems to be a huge-ass wind emanating from the window, preventing you from passing one side of the room. War. That's a powerful wind indeed. Alright, well, nothing to be done there just yet. Never get to investigate that person who puffing a lot of smoke over there. And that brings us onto the roof. I like that we actually get to explore these spaces from all these different angles like this, just for the roof to not be a dedicated board, but actually fit onto here. Not a whole lot up here, of course. Some statues. Man. Creature portrayed here looks rather strong, staring bravely onward. And we can hammer it, because we have our hammer. Try striking the statue with a hammer, but you only manage to chip it. It's too strong. Last one. Woman. Creature portrayed here looks rather gentle, looking hopefully onward. Well. Debris. Okay, you can smash that one for sure. And then in the middle, child. Creature portrayed here looks helplessly innocent. You can barely hear the crying of a child in the distance. And you too shall feel the hammer. With all your strength, you slam the hammer full force into the head of the baby statue. Is it a baby? The hammer gets lodged in, and the whole thing begins to shake. The statue of the baby actually lay intact on the bottom ledge, only with a few chunks falling out and blocking the window. Whoa. Winds emanating from the window suddenly stop. It seems that the statue you pushed off the ledge is blocking the window opening. Right on. So, there are indeed a few puzzles in this game. It's pretty light, especially compared to more classic Trippy games like Kudzu, which are pretty much entirely puzzle-based. This is more about just exploring the world and occasionally interacting with strange people within. Take a look at that. Oop, well, it's made with an invisible wall. There's a small boy of, say, 9 years of age, huddled in the corner, puffing away at a joint. You can take his joint, or it could be bad karma. What's your deal, 9-year-old with a joint? Oh, well, okay. He seems very anxious and excited, as if a child in the candy store. Sure, why not? You're not allowed to smoke that. You cruelly snatch the marijuana from the boy. You see tears well up in his eyes. The child seems very heartbroken without his drugs and cries mournfully. How strange. A grown man has near the same reaction. Really makes you think, huh? So this game does have some really interesting philosophy, especially given that, as I mentioned previously, that Draco was very much a fan of drugs. This game is much more against them than you would expect. And in fact, this game actually has a pseudo-remake called... sorry, this one's Edible Vomit. Called Inedible Vomit, which is 99% the same, but it makes it a lot more pro-drug, and it also kills the player at the start of the game so that you can, and gives you health back, so you can run around at super fast speed and just get through it a bit faster. But then you don't really get to take in these neat little fades and this really interesting blue carpeting everywhere. I love this ground. It's just a very odd color choice, but it looks really nice. How strange. Bunny seems to mellow down the slightest bit at the smell of your joint. You decide to share your fortune and toss him your drug. The bunny gets rather lit and uneasily saunters off his way. Rather nifty job, Freddy, I must say. Making progress. Got ourselves another house to explore. This one is a lot more traditional ZZT on the interior, at least. Perhaps the purple wallpaper is a bit unique, but we just got ourselves a fireplace, a table, some chairs. I do like, and for a game this old, you don't see this too often. Just the interior-exterior shot, the background here, is how it matches up with the previous board perfectly and just darkens it a little. I think that's a nice touch. A good way of making things a little more seamless when you can get away with, of course, having your interior be as big as it is on the outside and not having to play around with perspective or sizing or anything. Horace here. There seems to be a strange-looking old man in the chair. He has but one eye, his other eye having nothing but an oversized socket. He seems to have no vision whatsoever. Cripes, man, what happened to you? Aye, I'm blind. Really? How'd it happen? The wishing well. In the Karma caves. I was trapped, and the well promised me no exit lest I offer my left eye, and I did. Aye. Owie. Why the hell did you go down to those crazy caves, man? The fortunes, oh, fortunes unimaginable. 'Twas a fool I was. In my old age, wandered I foolishly, was confronted by a bunch of savage weasels. I backed myself into a corner and stumbled upon the wishing well, who then proceeded to ask me for my eye in order to return for a safe exit. The most stupid move I've made yet, aye. What's your name, man? I'm Horace. Great fortunes, eh? Shit, man. I think I just may wander down there. No, don't do it, I implore you. You don't understand, man. This is drug money. I searched the perfect drug, and I need to pay for it. Drugs aren't the way. There comes much greater a high than material things. What? Karma. Instant karma. Nirvana is far greater a pleasure than drugs. Drugs come and go. Eternity is forever. Follow your conscience, young ferret, and karma will lead the way. Shit, man, you're full of it. Your karma be damned. I need me some white lines or something. Look, I pursued monetary fortune. Now I sit here, cold and blind. I may as well have sewed mine eyes shut from whence I was but a child, but lived a clean mind. But convince you otherwise can I not, young one. Follow your own path. Just take heed my words and look at me. I'm blind. I am in hell. Help me. Well, bad karma in the karma caves. But we need our drugs. Here. I may be misreading this walkthrough that I have open. Yes, I'm supposed to go south first. That makes more sense. Here we go. The aforementioned Karma Caves. The music in this one is pretty nice too. All the songs end a bit abruptly though. They all feel like he was starting something interesting. A big-ass boulder is blocking the path, preventing you to move further on. For shame. A small boulder stands in your path. You pull it away with reasonable ease. This is another great example of some unconventional colors that look fantastic. There's a very orange looking shade, that contrast. And orange is not really a color you think of when you think of ZZT. Ah, here we are, it's Willy the Weasel. Oh dear. As was the catchphrase in the ZZT community at the time. I wonder if it actually originated here and was brought into Holocena. Or it might be the other way around. What's your beef, punk? Get out of my way, I'm busy being an asshole. This character is great. So I see. Dude, you don't happen to be a ravenous weasel Horace speak of? Eh, who? The blind man, man. There are many a blind man. Pick a number. Leave me be. So the weasel is no help. Oh. I seem to have discovered young Master Bates here. Leave me alone. My apologies. Let's try a different exit. There we go, that's a little nicer. And get a very green building. And some cows. Everybody get loose. And frolic amongst the cows. Not a single moo. Well, they're free now if they choose to be. More very vibrant color choices though here. And all of this is well before external editors. Everything here involved like going back to a toolkit, copying a single tile of a weird non-default color, putting it on this board, drawing whatever you need with, and just rinse and repeat on and on and on. These games took time to make. So even when you're... I lost my train of thought because I let that music play. So even when you're working with, like, pretty simple blends, all things considered, this is just blobs of solid to normal to breakable to water, it's the usual fade, it could still take a bit, especially when you're doing these, like, more interesting contours and stuff, drawing all this out and filling it in. There is a flood fill, but you still have to really get your shapes right before you can actually use that. Also, a big fan of these walls here. I'm assuming those are supposed to be like pictures and not windows hanging on the walls. I think that looks pretty neat. Although, interesting window or painting. That's an interesting place to hang it, partially behind the fireplace. We can raid the silverware. Take a spork. Theme of spork. Take a knife. You would cut yourself when you put it in your fur. Take a napkin. Wee. Socks and utensils. That's all you really need. You sit down at the table and examine the strange-looking empty bowl. There seems to be some symbols on the bottom of the bowl. What it means, you couldn't fathom. So we don't get to know whose house this is. Perhaps it's the Weasel's. Perhaps it's Master Bates's. Who's in charge of all these calves here? We'll never know. Ooh. Ah, this must be the horrible wishing well we were warned about. Sorry for talking over that neat tune. But this is clearly a scary place, as it's even called Wishing Hell. Or, 'tis the wishing well of knowledge, which offers the greatest treasures this side of fucking Nashville. Or so you've heard. The well talks, too. But if it weren't for that damned weasel, this would be a killer tourist attraction. Offer your left eye for the greatest fortune known to man. Well, for one thing, we get this fun little ZZT visual glitch, where since it auto-indents these hyperlinks when they're displayed instead of as code, you can kind of break out of scrolls a little bit. Can we give our eye? It'll grow back, I guess. Ooh. Oh my. It lets you. Using your nails. Probably content warning on this one. You claw out your left eye and, though in much agony, manage to toss it in. Now you're blind, and you surely cannot find the perfect drug in this state, see? Tasteless tag. Hey, this is pretty cool. Game over. Okay. Don't do that. You cannot destroy your body in pursuit of drugs, is the lesson here, I suppose. We will have to get a different eye. Fortunately, we know just the place. Now we get to do some backtracking, though. And because of that, you can see why the inedible vomit version of this game opted to speed things up a little. I'm also specifically just using plain old ZZT for this and not solid HUD. This is a straightforward game. I don't really want to dress it up any more than it needs to be. Alright. New option. We have a spork for this giant eyeball. Garnishing all your strength, you spork the damned eye until it falls and winces. I hope you feel better, you cruel bastard, you. Alright. Let's get eye fluid all over us, and we'll just take the eye. You pick up the big-ass eye, and somehow fit it in your fur. In the mid-2000s, thanks to an abundance of various ZZTers now identifying as furries, the sticking things in your fur, spelled that way, became a short-lived new catchphrase. With this new eyeball, we can just take that out of our fur a lot more cleanly than our own. The Eye of Horus. Toss in Horus's huge-ass eye into the well's translucent waters. Goes in with a splash, and before you appears a long-assed rope. A rope? A bleeding rope? I toss in my left eye, and all I get is a bleeding rope? Where's my great-ass treasure? The well does not respond. No surprise. So yeah, not what we were hoping for. Now we gotta go all the way back to town. We'll still have to figure out something to do with this big boulder, presumably. That's this house. Bunny at the temple. Ooh, sorry. You kind of just learn to get used to that noise. No, wait a sec, we can just open up this door. Ah, yes. So now here, we can't fit all this in the layout of the previous board, so it has to get something more dedicated to just being this room rather than keeping the old background outside area as a background. What we got here? Stinky the Rat. It's Stinky the Rat. He's a good acquaintance of yours. He seems like nice enough of a guy, but you fear becoming attached, for his health is giving way due to obscene amounts of drug taking. Give him a few more days max. He'll be dead as a doorknob. Hi, Stinky. My friend needs help. You have a friend? Oh. But I found this cool-looking chained-up dude in the Temple of Love nearby. He's like, all dead and shit. Whoa! Kick ass! Can I go see him? Dude, he's not like my dead guy. Do whatever the hell you want with him. Rock on, little brother. Shit. He teleports away. Thank you, Stinky. But now that Stinky's out of the picture, we can take a straw and put it in our fur. Ah, well. I see. It's that kind of straw. These white lines are pure shit. You dip your paw into it and put it to your tongue. You almost feel the layers of glass slashing your tongue. That's not good. Sorry, Freddy. Your quest continues. Oh, we've got to check out this dead body again. Well, not dead body. Hopefully not yet. Only one way to find out, though. Gone. Okay. Well, like Freddy said, it's not our dead body. Oh, no worries. But that frees up the ability to climb up this vine, which is pretty easy to miss if you're not looking for it. Just because the body's gone, you might not make the connection that this whole vine is walkable when all the other ones are not. Now this might be the best looking board in the game, I think. I really love this starry sky. There's that other planet. It's the big-ass Berlin Wall, as it's called. Here we are, on a different part of the Temple of Love roof, I suppose? I guess that doesn't make too much sense. That's okay. Doesn't have to, it's Trippy. But we've got our rope. The steel stump. Peculiar. Dude, maybe this rope could span across from here to the Berlin Wall. Tie one end of the rope to the stump, and toss it over to the purple wall. And it attaches. Woo-ha! So we've done it. green mushrooms now. Basically, in like a whole new part of the world. It feels very different here compared to how the rest of the game has looked. Where are we? Welcome to Angel. Alright, well, perhaps we can get our drugs. Dear God, here's Sis the young child you stole that marijuana from. He looks at you innocently, blinking to hold back his tears. Why are you here, man? You took my drugs. You took away my everything. My drugs were my everything to me. Come now, man. Drugs aren't everything. Then why do you search so intently for the perfect drug? You got him. Wow, you think. This boy really struck a deep chord in you. Are drugs everything they're cracked? No pun intended. Up to be? I don't know, but trust me in saying, dude, that there's far more in life than drugs. I have more in life than just drugs. Like what? Nothing. Alright, nothing. My life is driven by addictive, overpriced pleasure things. But I'm old and stupid. You still have hope. Says nothing, only cries. What can I do to make you feel better, kid? Find me something to get off these misery things. Well, that's the challenge. Or is it? So it wasn't distance that makes the moon look so little. Nay, the moon really is as tiny as to fit in your palm. Quite frightening, no? I am contemplating whether or not I should take the moon. Shirley, or Harvey Danger rocks ass. Indeed he does. Of course, the sun and the moon and the stars. You choose them. Oh, sorry. Of the sun and the moon and the stars, you choose the middle. Is it fate? Is there such a thing as fate? Will you quit drugs if I give you the moon? No. But there is one place where the moon will come in handy, and it is not the giant boulder. Just need to, once again, go on a bit of a walk. A long walk. That's the only kind of walk in this game, really. Beyond the weird garden, all the way back to the start. But not that one. The door in this little shroom, shape of a crescent moon. Slip the moon in the slot, and it opens. The wonders of technology. Ah, back to this. In a big blue object lining the wall, you see a rather deep hole where your hand cannot fit. In the hole lie a very tiny but adorable teddy bear. You could almost hear a crying child in the distance, mourning for his/her lost teddy. I have a straw? Maybe I could suck/snort it up. This is a plan. With the nose, no less. You shove one straw in down the hole and the other in your right nostril. With that, you suck it up through the hole. The teddy is old and worn, but not without a stirring charm. Gonna have to go on one more walk all the way back there. I think it's safe to say that's the biggest issue with this game today. But aside from that, it's still a pretty enjoyable experience. And I think the visuals, especially boards like this, like really make this a pretty memorable game. Short and simple as it may otherwise be. Alright, kid. How about a teddy bear? Hand the old teddy bear as the boy hopefully looks on. He takes the bear and could hold his tears back no longer. He speaks. I myself am as well as dead. I am crushed, destroyed. All because of the greens I smoked, the white lines I snorted, the nourishment I neglected. And now I am gone. Thank you for your concern, but I only ask that you do not do any more drugs. Please, for my sake. Are you okay? You're beginning to look rather cold and pale, and thinner. Are you alright? A tear rolls down cheek. Shock. With that, the boy vanishes, leaving you with an overwhelming sense of guilt and emptiness. You're frightened considerably when you stumble upon a rather gigantic scorpion. Shit! Who goes there? Freddy the Ferret. Skank sent me. Ah, Skank, yes. Pleased to meet you. I myself am Jimmy the Rat. Now, maybe you've done too many drugs. You just know the scorpion claimed to be Jimmy the Rat. Excuse me? Nicknames, dear friend. Nicknames. Now, how can I help you? I came to find the perfect drug. Ah, I can supply you with the absolute best. But no. What? The emptiness inside of you is devouring you. You reminisce of Horus, who lost his left eye and his dignity in search for earthly pleasures. Of that poor youth who lost his not yet fully developed life, who will now never experience the wonders of life. Of Skank, who lives in poverty in a mushroom because of spending his every cent on drugs. Of Stinky the Rat, who's surely dead at this point, all because of his constant dosages of heroin. Of you, who's wasted away his life thus far for disposable fun. Can you really afford taking another hit? Can you truly afford to turn out like Stinky, Skank, the little boy, and all the junkies out there? Perhaps the wishing well works. Maybe your greatest fortune is being clean for once. Perhaps you've realized a gift many were too stoned to notice. Maybe this is your calling. No, I can't do it. I've done too many drugs. I've seen too many fucked up lies to take another hit. From this day on, I must be clean, and stay clean. Old turkey? I've seen people kill themselves because of their lack of access to drugs. Yet more death. If so, I'm fucked anyway. Either way, I can't. I just can't. I'm sorry. I must go now. I think I've made the right choice. And so it ends. Horus, the little boy, they were all right. You found the truth. You've reached the right path. The perfect drug. What is the perfect drug? Nothing. It doesn't exist. Every drug fucks you up as much as the next, rendering your quest potentially useless, save for this enlightening revelation. Meaning the game is over. Let's get on with the creds, yes? I think this is just going to be a copy of what we've already seen. Looks like it. And a link to a site called intoxicated.com/porn.html. Perfect. Thanks for downloading. Hope you enjoyed playing and such. Stay tuned in for the sequel. Oh yes, sequel. Tentatively entitled Cold Turkey. Yeah, that's right. Stay tuned, people. And yes, keep away from drugs. I've seen it fuck more than a few people up. Seriously. Peace out. And that's edible vomit. It's it's a really sad story whenever I do play this game. Because it's easy to look at this and kind of see the naivety. Not that drugs certainly don't ruin people's lives, but this is just like a young teenager with this strange sort of curiosity about these dangerous substances out there and how they can ruin your life and how they can just consume you entirely and how you should stay away from all that. And then obviously from what I've already mentioned that changed for Draco. He didn't stick to what he preached in this game, and he did get more and more involved in drug use as the years went on, and far beyond the more basic stuff out there. And so it's very weird when you go back to this game knowing that he did eventually actually pass away from an overdose. There's somewhere on Z2, I believe there's a thread on that from years and years ago now. It's just seeing the juxtaposition from this game and just knowing what happened to him in the end, it's very sad. And even just seeing this game to Inedible Vomit, which deliberately changes the ending and all its messaging, specifically like, no, actually, drugs are great. I love them and they're perfect. And I'm not making a mistake in doing what I am doing. Wherever that line may be is a tough sell, and I mean, like, the fact is, I am playing this specifically because, I need something to post on 420. Like, that kind of culture is certainly everywhere, and I am in a state with legalized marijuana, and I do get to take advantage of that, but it's always rough when you do know that what became of this person, this it's like high school student. This is not really even like a preachy game per se. It's really only at like the very end. Like, Freddy is not. This is not Wally Bear and the No Gang here. This is Freddy the Ferret who wants to find good drugs, and eventually just having an epiphany that like what he's after doesn't actually exist. So this one just, as the years go on, just becomes more and more unique of a game in that regard, just because of it just captures this small period in Draco's life and his abruptly short life. That can kind of make it a bit hard to go back to, and it's easy to forget just how this game ends and just remember as, oh yeah, it's that funny ZZT game where there's like the picture of the ferret injecting heroin into his veins, and then there's mushrooms everywhere, and you steal marijuana from children. It's just like the vast majority of ZZT games. It's never taken all that seriously. And it's very difficult to say like what exactly changed. Because the release date on this and the release date on Inedible Vomit is just like months apart. So it was just an abrupt change, apparently, that went on for years and years. And unfortunately, he is no longer with us because of it. Sorry to end this on a downer. I guess there's no way to discuss this without it being a downer, because that's what it is. But outside from man's personal life and what became of it, this is indeed a very important ZZT game for the era. It influenced quite a number of people. It probably influenced quite a number of people to try drugs as much as it influenced people to stay away from them. It's got that unique color scheme, this trippy art style. This is the game I still think of first and foremost when I hear the genre trippy. The very loaded term for ZZT games that just covers a lot of anything surreal, be it drug induced or not. But we may not still have Draco, but we still do have the art that he created. Whether it be pro drug, anti drug, or either. So thank you all for watching this. Sorry to again end on a big bummer. But hopefully you've got a bit of an idea of what bird clock, a bit of an idea of what Draco was like at this time and what the ZZT community was like at this time for this game to resonate with people and for its message to also very quickly be a bit rejected and a bit just overlooked. I don't think most people who are just remembering Edible Vomit versus replaying it remember how actually anti-drug it ends up being in the end. It's just an interesting time capsule into one person's life. Alright, there is no way I'm going to be able to end this on like a fun and happy and exciting note, but thank you all for watching this. Hope you enjoyed taking a look at Edible Vomit. And thank you for your continued support. I can't say thank you for watching my stream because this is not a stream. But thank you for watching this. Hope to see you again. Later.